All right, we are back. The Responsible Bet, Season 3, Episode 3. It's great to be back with the boys. I was on a little COVID break, but we're live now. I did watch a few clips of the show last week. I was very impressed. Thank you for the shout out, Yosh. I'm ready to dive into it. Why don't you guys introduce yourself? We got a long show today, and then let's just dive into the picks.
I hope the fans know us by now. But we got Kylie Kaika down here.
It's for all the new fans every show, you know. There's always new
For
clicks,
sure.
new listeners. So
Rapid growth. I understand.
exactly.
And Die Bets on Twitter for me, if you want to see my picks as well.
Hell yeah.
Great follow. Keep riding those Mariners. Even though they're kind of crap in the bed, but we'll see. All right, well, I didn't do any college picks this week. I guess we just got to give a quick shout out to the University of Washington. You know, they look pretty good. I think
Unbelievable.
Michigan State were pretty fraudulent. They clearly have a terrible passing defense, but Michael Penix looks pretty good. He was making some decent plays and some good passes, and I think you guys both won money right there, didn't you?
Yeah, dude. That was trap line of the century. So much so that I was scared to pick it, but it was a system play at that point, and you had to go with the system, and it was not even close. They completely dominated, and I'm just loving the system.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
you tailed that
Pac-12
too.
is
Yeah.
very interesting this year. The Pac-12 is very interesting this year.
I did.
Pac-12 is interesting. Um, I feel like they're just always in good spots to bet on, which is interesting as well. Our Hammer Time locks of the week both hit. I was on the Colts Jags under. I think it was 43 or 44 and a half, and down was on Oregon minus 3.5 against BYU. That was a bit trappy too. It was like it was a weird one. They were favored as the lower ranked team, but BYU just coming off of a similar situation against Baylor. It was like, dude, I love the pick it tailed down as well. Yeah, I hope you tailed the Hammer Time locks.
I mean, it's crazy, right? Like, Vegas does not put much stock into those rankings, and I don't think anyone else should really, because it's so hard to rank teams.
Yeah.
Really. It's completely meaningless. I actually thought.
Yeah.
I actually watched that Oregon game, and Jaron Hall looked pretty good. They just got completely dominated. Their defense got completely dominated, but I don't know much about BYU, but I'm kind of following Jaron Hall, and he looked solid. But yeah, good pick, Dylan.
Yeah, he's all right, but I liked Oregon's offense. That was mostly why I picked them. Honestly, I thought they can sling it around, and I thought they would put up points, and that's exactly what they did.
Well, that's why
We also got to give a shout out though. We got to give a shout out to a man on the MVP hunt.
Oh,
How tasty is that looking? What an unreal comeback. Don, were you on the Dolphins in that game as well?
Yeah, I was on the Dolphins in that game.
Dude,
Great game from Tua. Insane.
Great week from the Responsible Bet Pod. Just like never a doubt. Tua, man, coming in at plus 6,000 on the season for MVP. It was low as like plus 1,800 after the game, I think. I mean, you're never gonna get a better value if anything. You know, if it doesn't hit, it's at least a great value play. You can say that it was money worth a while.
I mean, he is our MVP, and yeah, at this point the value's gone. His odds have almost tripled, and I mean, we don't want to say we saw it coming, but we kind of saw it coming, right? I mean,
yeah, I agree.
Waddle and Tyreek might be the two of the most dangerous weapons in the league, and Tua doesn't have to do much for them to be good.
I will say though that front runner, Josh Allen, is literally the only thing standing in his way right now. Is if like he just hasn't faltered yet, so he's probably still a front runner. But Tua, man, doing everything he can with like a terrible defense too. Like my goodness, like Lamar had a 72-yard run. They had Duvernay returned the kick.
Yeah.
Bateman had a 75-yard catch.
I mean, if we have a real talk about MVP odds one of these days, the only thing, the big thing about Tua is that like he still feels like a year out. You know, it's like even if he has a great year and he's similar year to Josh Allen, I think the press and the crowd will all lean Josh Allen at this point. So
That's what
you
I mean.
either want us to blow him out of the water, or next year, have that 1 year where everyone's like, oh wait, he's actually good, and then you kind of cash in next year.
Yeah, but I think that's what's holding him back is like the voters are just gonna side with a Josh Allen or one of the top tier quarterbacks. If it's like similar stats, they're just gonna kind of lean that way. He's got to kind of, like you said, blow everybody out of the water, getting the first seed or whatever.
Yeah, super interesting. So let's dive into the college picks this week. I know you guys got a ton, so start throwing them out.
No, so funny story. Actually, riding a, I believe it was 3-0 on the pod. I gave out Georgia, Oklahoma, and who was the last one? Washington. But then I added Notre Dame and Oregon. Oregon obviously hit, but Notre Dame, oh my goodness, they suck. They actually just suck. Like Marshall wasn't a fluke; they suck. So I was 4-1. But this week, the only pick that I'm liking, and it's just more so, I don't feel like I know about the teams enough in the games that I'm looking at to want to pick them. So I'm riding Oklahoma again. I believe they're minus 12.5 against Kansas State, and Kansas State hasn't played anybody, and I don't see any reason why they could possibly keep up with Oklahoma. And I keep saying like I hate picking Oklahoma, and I do. Like I don't think they're gonna make it far, but like they just have these terrible teams, and they keep beating up on the terrible teams. So as long as they're got these cupcakes in their schedule, I'm gonna roll with them. But that's my only college football pick. So I'll turn it over to Die Bets.
Yeah, so I got a bunch. I was just looking at it.
What was your record last week, Dylan? You did pretty well.
We were 5-4 last week, but we did hit that 2-unit play on Oregon, so
beautiful.
Ended up a bit more than a unit gain on the week, so pretty good. And college football wise,
any Hammah time lock of the week is a win.
Exactly.
That just makes it a winning week.
Exactly. All right. I guess just moving into the picks to start us off. I love betting those Thursday, Friday games, so we will start with Georgia State +3. They're at home, 0-3 team against a 3-0 Coastal Carolina at home, and they're only getting 3 points here, which is a very, very interesting line from my perspective. I do think Georgia State is a little bit undervalued after their first 3 games. Kind of lost a shootout against Charlotte last week. And, they played South Carolina, North Carolina pretty well, I would say. North Carolina only losing by 7 in that game. So I think this team definitely has the talent to keep up with a Coastal Carolina team that's probably going to end up first in the league, I would say. So Georgia State can pull out the upset. That would be huge. So that's going to be my pick for Thursday. And then for Friday, we're going to –
That's pretty trappy. 3-0 team, only favored by 2 against Georgia State, who is 0-3. That's interesting.
It's definitely an interesting one.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Continue.
And then we are rocking Boise State on Friday, minus 15.5. This UTEP team is just
nice.
Not a good football team, guys. I mean, they've lost to New Mexico at New Mexico 27-10. New Mexico's been a stellar Mountain West team for as long as I've known. I mean, and, losing to North Texas at home 31-13. They're just not a good team. Beat New Mexico State at home 2 weeks ago 20-13, but New Mexico State probably, once again, one of the worst teams in the Mountain West. And we should see Boise State being able to control this game in the run game, and also just hopefully cause some turnovers as well against a UTEP team that's like pretty turnover prone. And then moving on into Saturday, guys, we got 7 more picks here, so I'm gonna go quick. We got TCU money line against SMU at SMU. I think Max Duggan definitely has the tools to get this one done. This line has moved from a pick'em to a -2 on TCU side, so the sharps are loving TCU as well, and that's what I'll be riding. Duke plus 7.5 against Kansas at Kansas. Both 3-0 teams. Kansas's win total to start the season 2.5. They've surpassed that already. 3-0 to start the season.
Yeah, can we talk about Kansas real quick? Have you been paying attention to them?
That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
is it their quarterback
I watched,
or is like their whole roster? Because I remember last year they were a complete dumpster fire, weren't they?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think Jalen Daniels is a great mobile quarterback. He's got the athleticism, but in terms of passing, he hasn't really done anything that's really been inspiring.
Gotcha.
I mean, 566 yards to the air through 3 games is like, I mean,
yeah, they're averaging
that's
under
less than 200
a
a game. Yeah,
they're averaging 260 on the ground.
Yeah, I mean, they're just tearing it up on the ground, right? And I think Duke has the firepower to make them actually throw the ball in this game, especially with the way Duke's been playing. I mean, they went to Northwestern, they upset them there. I believe they were like double-digit point dogs in that game. So I definitely think Duke will make them throw the ball here, and will kind of show off Kansas's weaknesses as a team. Just because I don't think that Jalen Daniels is a great passer yet, at least at this point in his college career.
What year is he?
He's a junior right now, I think. I think he has 2 more years of eligibility, though. Yeah, he has 2 more years because he gets that 5th year from COVID. So I think, I mean, we should see it develop moving forward. And I think Kansas football is in a good spot right now. But I think a touchdown worth is enough for me to lay Duke here. Yeah. So we'll take that. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting game. I want to see if Duke can control how much Kansas is running. Because if they get their run game going, then it's going to be a little bit tough for Duke.
So theoretically, what do you think a line between like one of the better teams in the Big 12 would be?
Against Kansas?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, I mean, if they're playing like Oklahoma or something. Yeah, I mean, West Virginia looked shaky.
I mean, week 1 they looked okay, and then they just
like Oklahoma, OSU. I don't know if Baylor's actually good this year, but they.
Yeah, I think if they play Oklahoma, OSU, if they play them at home, probably be 14-point dogs or something like that. I would assume, just because
I'm super curious to see what that line comes out at. Because I mean,
yeah, it might be less.
I mean, that's
it
pretty
should
good
be.
in my.
I don't know. I think Oklahoma might be a little, like maybe around 14 or something, maybe 12. I think Ohio State would be kind of a lot, and I think actually Baylor might be single
State.
Oh, Oklahoma State? I don't know. I could see that around 10.
I don't know. I haven't been following them, but they're ranked 9th this year.
They're doing well.
They were good last year, but
yeah, I think it would be double digits regardless, because I think Kansas, until they prove otherwise, they're still like seen as a subpar program. I guess definitely on the rise though.
They've been.
But
we'll see. I mean, are notable programs to beat though the past 2 weeks. To give them credit, but yeah.
So were they? So last year, just looking, they played Oklahoma. They lost 35-23. Then they played Oklahoma State the following week, and they lost 55-3.
Last year,
I don't know if they were. I thought they were garbage last year, but I really didn't pay attention to Kansas, of course. But
yeah, they were pretty garbage last year, I'd say. They also had some quarterback like different. Like they brought in.
Playing last
he
year.
Wasn't the starter. They had Jason Bean as their starter last year, and I think he was pretty trash as well. So way worse than Jalen Daniels. I think Jalen Daniels is a much better playmaker of a quarterback. So hopefully, they can turn it around. Yeah.
You don't necessarily need to be
just guys that can make big plays. Exactly.
Yeah, because you can do so much more in terms of. I mean, just because like even the NFL, the coaches just don't even care, right? Like you can run the ball every play, and the coaches are like, all right, whatever. It's not like they're $50 million quarterbacks. So.
Yeah, exactly. All right. A couple more. We're rocking with Texas Tech at home against number 22 Texas. And I like the points in Lubbock. It can get a little bit weird in terms of spread. They just beat Houston at home 33-30. Houston lost back-to-back games, which is kind of crazy. And I think with Texas rocking a backup quarterback in there, I don't know. It should be an interesting situation. Ewers did practice this week, but I think Texas Tech. Out? Yeah, I mean he did practice this week. I think he's probably going to play, but we'll see. It's really unknown at this point. But I do think Texas Tech getting a touchdown at home is not a bad situation at all. Let's see.
Definitely.
All right, and then next pick, we're taking a dog here on the money line. We're taking Arkansas money line. It's technically an away game at Texas A&M, but it is an AT&T Stadium, I do believe. So it's more or less going to be a neutral field. I think Arkansas is going to travel pretty well. And I just like what we've seen from Arkansas this year. They're a very solid team. And, they had a little scare against Missouri State last week, but I think KJ Jefferson is definitely a capable quarterback, I'd say. And Texas A&M they looked good last week against Miami, but I think this Miami team is actually just really bad. So, I mean, they have some playmakers in A-Chain and, Anaya Smith, but I don't know. I just think Arkansas is the better football team overall, so I'm going to take them as a dog plus 110 on the money line.
Arkansas
What is the spread on that game?
I think it's just minus 1.5. Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. I mean, if you're gonna take a team, you might as well just go money line, right?
But Miami's the only team that A&M's beat, or like notable team, and Miami's played nobody so far, and it's not like they completely blew them out. Like they played like Bethune or something, and it was wasn't that much of a blowout. And Arkansas has looked steady. I like Arkansas.
Yeah, that Miami offense was very uninspiring. Arkansas was so conservative. I don't even know what he was doing that game. It was crazy. It was hard to watch.
I was hearing sleeper for the ACC, and then it's no.
Well, Van Dyke was supposed to be good, but we'll see.
He hasn't impressed me in past years as well, so I just wasn't big on Miami going into this year because I think quarterback play is pretty big. In the bigger conferences. So, I mean,
for sure.
Just the way that he's been playing has not been inspiring to me at all. So, all right, 3 more picks here. We're rocking with Cal at home against Arizona.
Wow.
Shout out to Arizona. I mean, they do have a St. Louis school graduate as their quarterback in Jaden DeLoria. So, it's hard to bet against a Hawaii boy. Hard to bet against a Hawaii boy, but I think Jack Plummer looked decent against Notre Dame last week. I mean, he didn't look great. He threw for 184 and a touchdown, but I think Cal might just be a better team here. They beat UNLV at home. They beat FCS UC Davis at home. Not a very good team at all, but Arizona. I thought they were going to lose last week to North Dakota State, and it was a very, very close game. They ended up pulling it out by 3, and I think they're in for a letdown spot here when they travel to Cal. This line has been bought down from Cal -5 to -3 now, and I think it's at a point in which I want to buy in on Cal at -3.
This is such a sketch game, though. It's two really not great teams, and Cal completely choked that away. They had everything going for them. They were at home in a huge, huge matchup, or I guess what was going into the week as a huge matchup, and they just completely threw that game away. That's a scary one to me.
Yeah. All right. Second to last game. We're going Vanderbilt plus 41 at Alabama. Okay, guys, listen. I know it's Bama. All right. But Vanderbilt's still an SEC school. I think, they beat a pretty good Northern Illinois team at Northern Illinois last week. I mean, granted, they didn't have Rocky Lombardi. He was out, so they had their backup in. But this freshman, A.J. Swan, he came in, threw for 255, 4 tutties. Pretty insane, considering he wasn't starting the first 3 weeks. So I think Vanderbilt should be able to cover the plus 41 here. I mean, it's going to be very close, probably going to be a little clench butthole moment, but I think Vanderbilt can do it. And that's what we'll be taking. And then the last game we'll be rocking with is I'm going back to Louisiana Lafayette. Picked them last week. They
Bread
lost
and butter.
lost at Rice. Cannot believe it. They lost by double digits at Rice. And
That's
now
crazy.
now they're going to Louisiana Monroe. And I'm going to take them -9 here against Louisiana Monroe. Louisiana Monroe, got absolutely shellacked by Alabama last week, 63-7. They beat FCS Nickel State in the Southland Conference. Just not a good conference for athletics, guys. I mean, probably some great schools in there, but athletic-wise, basketball, football, they absolutely suck. So, not too confident in Louisiana Monroe as a whole, as a team, just because they were picked last in the Sun Belt as well. So, we're rocking with Louisiana. 9 points. I think it's under double digits. It's been bought down, so that's what we'll be taking. And I like the play.
Interesting. Really quick, you think this is a letdown week for Washington, coming off like probably the biggest win in program history or not history, but like past
Program
3
history.
years maybe?
I know Kyle loves his Stanford, but I just don't see them winning.
No, that's why I don't think it's gonna
What's the
happen.
line
But
on that game?
It's 13.5, and I could see Stanford covering this game, definitely. But I just don't want to take so many points if I'm taking Washington here, and that's why I'm just staying away. So I looked at that game. I also looked at the Oregon State game as well at home.
What about the Oregon at Wazoo game?
Yeah, I think
I don't know. That's interesting as well.
Wazoo,
Wazoo
I feel like is kind of
weird.
a scrappy
frisky.
team that might actually be good. Cam Ward, I mean, from all accounts, I've only watched like a little bit of one of their games, but he's been a beast, and the hype was there before, and he's kind of lived up to it. And they have some good players on defense.
I can't
And they're at home.
buy in yet, just because I think Wisconsin is terrible, and
Are they
Other than
more
that,
fraudulent than Michigan State?
I still don't know if Washington's good or Michigan State's really bad. That one's like messing with my head. I have no idea. Michigan State could be awful, and we could have all just been hoaxed. Or Washington could just be something. Penix, he came from where? Indiana or something? Wherever
Yeah,
he
I
transferred
mean,
from,
he
like
played at
sucked.
Indiana. He had 2 shoulder surgeries. He was
Dude,
good
he's
for
like
a
sucked
year.
at Indiana.
Yeah, he was good for a year with the same coordinator he has now. This was like freshman year. He was like good. Everyone was talking about him, and then he got injured and didn't play for like 2 years, and he sucked when he came back last year for 5 games. But he is playing with the same coach he had when he was good at Indiana. But yeah, I mean,
I don't know. They whomped Colorado State last week, Washington State, but maybe it's a letdown after Oregon beat BYU. I don't know. I
Yeah.
can't buy in on Washington State yet, though.
Yeah, I guess too
Yeah,
early to tell. This will be a good game for them though.
Yeah,
We could test
I
the
think it's interesting that both of the lines are pretty similar, right? The USC line and the Washington State line. They're
you fell off
exactly
with
the
that
same.
one, huh?
Yeah,
What is it, 6.5 for? Or what is it
it's
now?
6.5 for both.
And who is
Yeah.
USC playing?
Oregon
Oregon
State.
State on the road. It's like the same
Wow.
situation. It's just ranked teams on the road against Pac-12 opponents.
The
so.
USC one seems like they should be double-digit favorites, honestly, even though Oregon State's 3-0.
I mean, who is Oregon
Hey.
State beat?
They beat Boise
They did beat Fresno State,
Fresno
on the
State.
road.
and Montana State.
Who is the new Fresno State coach?
I don't know, but that was a tough one for Dallin last week.
Did you almost pick Fresno State?
We
We
took
did.
Fresno. I took Fresno State against USC
It
last
was
week.
like 12.5, and it moved to like 10.5 by the time the game started.
Yeah, and then they
It was a
just got
huge line.
smacked.
Yeah.
It's.
Yeah,
it- I think the USC has been the public steam this past few weeks, and all the sharps are backing the dogs in this situation. And it's tough because I think Oregon State's going to be the sharp play this week as well. It's just the fact that USC keeps defying Sharp's logic, they might go 0-4 fading USC. So
I
we'll
mean,
see.
they have
I don't know.
a great coach, and it's crazy easy to do roster turnover nowadays. So I don't know much about USC, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're way better than
They
expectations.
definitely are. I mean, like Travis Dye's a great running back. Caleb Williams is a pretty fucking solid quarterback as well. So
Wait, Travis
I mean,
Dye
I
transferred to USC?
Top guy.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh my god, I didn't even know
dude,
that.
they reloaded. Like
I mean, yeah, they dropped like what was
going
it
into
like
week one, I
20,
didn't
20 or
realize that.
40 players on scholarship. Lincoln Riley did that in 1 year, so yeah,
I think they had.
I mean,
I'm pretty sure
impossible
they
to
have like
evaluate.
40 transfers this year.
Yeah,
Like literally 80% of the roster is transfers.
and there's no denying he's
that's
a good
why.
coach. So I don't understand fading USC. But I think the only reason I like Wazoo is because I've only heard good things about their quarterback, and you know
I mean, they've played well.
they've played well, and they even had. I mean, they even played well when Jaden Delort was there. They won games they shouldn't have won. So
Yeah, and I shouldn't say Wisconsin's like a bad team. Like they're still like, I guess, they're not in like a bottom tier. I just don't think they're like a top 25 team. But
yeah.
who knows?
I remember Oregon coming to Wazoo like last year or the year before, and they were pretty solid, and they just completely fell flat. But it was later in the winter. So
Yeah, Oregon
I don't
fell
know
off a
if the
cliff.
weather- all right, yeah. Well, anyway, any other picks for the college football slate?
No, I think we
yeah.
kick it to the NFL.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's rock it.
Damn, I was trying to kind of just build on my solid start to the week, and I kept adding Monday night picks. Ended up 3-4. I couldn't have been more right on the Bills, and then I also picked them right before the game to hit the under. I literally was like, oh, they're gonna win like 38-7 or something, and
What was the
then it was 47.5, and then it was 41-7, and no one scored in the fourth quarter. The last score was the pick six, and I was like, damn, that's tough. But
Hey, 48 is a big number.
it was
48 is a big number.
it is and I didn't think the Titans were gonna score, and they didn't. So I mean, yeah, tough. Damn, what did you do? You were pretty good in.
Yeah,
you
I
had much
mean,
more in college, right?
yeah, we bounced back this past week in the NFL. We were this close to going 7-0, guys. If the Chiefs didn't get backdoor covered, and if the Browns didn't get backdoor covered, we were this close to going 7-0. But we end up 5-2. I'll take it. It's respectable.
Great
I mean,
job.
the Dolphins technically backdoored there. Lions controlled it throughout. The Eagles controlled the game throughout, and the Cowboys and the Cardinals with the backdoor as well. But the Cowboys controlled the game throughout as well. So
I was gonna say you were this close from 7-0. You're also this close from like 1 and whatever. Like if the games you won swung the other way, the Cardinals.
Yeah. If the Cardinals swung the other way,
the Dolphins, they came back from like 28 or like 21.
Whoa, there is no doubt in the Miami game, but
I know, but I'm saying in terms of Dallin's logic of going
Yeah.
7-0, you also got to say you were this.
I
close
mean,
to
I will
going.
give him the Browns game was
2-5.
probably one of the worst beats in a long time.
Yeah, that was kind of gross. We
That-
should at
that
least
was
got a push there, I
nasty.
think. But they just can't recover
They should,
onside kicks.
I mean, they should have lost the
So-
game up 13. Should have been up 14 with under 2 minutes, and I mean, yeah, that hasn't been seen. And the Chargers,
Well, I mean,
the
first
Chiefs
of all, Chubb
kind
could
of
have just went
backdoored
down
their
and the
way
game
into
would have
getting
been over.
backdoored. The Chiefs were outplayed.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, Kid York hero 1 week, not so much the next.
Yeah, I only made one pick
Um,
last week, Chargers, and of course it hit. So
No, you made the you were on the
Uh,
Seahawks and that didn't hit either, but that's okay. Anyways, all right, let's get into it.
That didn't hit
Thursday
my
night
heart.
football tomorrow night. Steelers at the Browns. What a game. Browns 4.5-point favorites. Over unders 38.5. A lot of really low scores totals this week, I think.
Yep.
This one I thought about it, and initially I was like, I think the Steelers are gonna win. I like picked the winner of all the games before looking at the spread, and I picked the Steelers. And I saw the line, and I was like, oh wow. And then I was like, maybe I should bet on Steelers, but then I don't know. They did not look good at all last week, so I wouldn't be surprised if the Browns are able to cover this. And plus, it's at home, so I got nothing. Akahi?
Yeah, I got Steelers plus 4.5 here. I I I just don't believe it's a low total. It's kind of a big spread. I don't really believe the Browns have shown much. They should have beat the Jets, and they barely scraped by the Carolina Panthers. Um, and I think the Steelers have the talent. They don't have the depth, but they have the talent to keep it a close game, and they've done that so far. So give me more than a field goal with the Steelers.
All right.
Down.
And I'm taking the exact opposite play here, and we're going
There we
Browns
go.
minus 4.5. I think the Browns' offensive line is good enough to handle this Steelers defense. Browns probably have one of the best O-lines in the league, I'd say. I don't think that's really an overstatement to say.
For sure.
And, the run game with the two-headed monster with Hunt and Chubb, I think, can attack this Steelers defense. No TJ Watt as well, so, a lot of good situation here for the Browns. Coming off a bad loss last week, it's a good bounce-back spot for them. And, I do think Jacoby Brissett has been serviceable. He hasn't been great.
Yeah.
But, I would say Mitch Trubisky is in that same tier of quarterback play, at least in my opinion.
One thing to monitor, too, is Clowney is out, and Garrett has a neck injury
Garrett's
that popped up today.
leaning towards being out.
So if both of those guys don't play, then that's that's at least a wash.
Yeah,
yeah, definitely. No, I was just gonna say I think Trubisky's also found out that Deontay is just awesome, and so he's just been kind of carrying them right now. Deontay, he has had some unreal catches in the first couple of games. But yeah, go ahead, Don. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
Yeah, I don't really see that being an issue. Myles Garrett is supposed to play as well, so it's really a wash.
Well, you think it's not an issue if Clowney and Garrett are out? You don't think that
Garrett's
matters?
Playing for sure. He's
potentially.
Playing.
Maybe not.
He's playing.
Not for sure. Not for sure.
Okay. Well, expected to play. And Clowney's out. I just think the Browns are the better football team here, and I just think that the run game is a bit better there. So they should be able to control the game. The total is low, yes, but I'll just take the Browns at home here. I think it's a good spot for them.
Cool.
Alrighty.
To disagree.
Moving on, we got the Ravens at the Patriots. Patriots are 2.5-point dogs, over under at 43.5. Dallin, let's kick it to you first for this one.
Yeah, I was thinking about this game. I kind of liked Patriot. I was leaning Patriots plus 2.5 here in Foxborough, but I just decided to stay away. Ultimately, it might be a Lamar Jackson revenge game. He's just been absolutely looked like a man possessed. Contract year, somebody pay the man. I saw James Harden tweet when he scored his 5th touchdown or whatever, or 4th touchdown, pay that man. And, he was just going the fuck off. So I can't bet against Lamar Jackson here. And also I don't like the Patriots as an organization. So we're staying away from this game in general.
Trust, what do you got?
Yeah, I didn't have a pick on this one. I think the Ravens secondary kind of got exposed. Not only are they hurt, but they're kind of lost. But I don't think the Patriots can take advantage. I'm just going to lay off. I don't know what's going to happen, really. I don't really want to. Yeah, I don't like the line either.
No. Yeah, the line, to me, it was this is kind of a trap. I thought the Ravens would be favored by more. But I guess, their secondary in the fourth quarter especially just got toasted. But I don't think the Patriots have nowhere near the same amount of weapons or a player of Waddle or Tyreek's caliber. I think that they got lucky last week, honestly. And I like the Ravens here. I think they're just a way better team. And I think they just bounced back after throwing it last week. So I'm on the Ravens plus minus 2.5 here. Moving on, Bills at Dolphins, one of the more interesting games of the week. Although Dolphins are 6.5-point dogs at home, over under set at 52.5. I guess the odds, the book is kind of just saying Bills are this good of a team, regardless of what Tua has shown so far. that the Bills are just going to continue to dominate their way through the season in the AFC East. And I don't know what side. At first, I was like, "Oh, dude, Tua, he's been awesome." Like defense gave up a bunch of big plays, but maybe that was kind of something that could be fixed. And I think their defense is actually better than they've played. So I would have went Dolphins, but then I was like, I'm gonna back off just because I do think the Bills are also that good as well. So I'll kick it to Akahi here. I don't got to pick.
I mean, what an exciting game this is, right? Two
Yeah.
MVPs facing off.
Yeah, the winner takes the lead, huh?
I'll just start off with my pick. I got Dolphins plus 6.5. Better QB at home, and I kind of like that formula. I also
I think
think
BBLD Nation saw that one coming.
I think you nailed it. I think the Dolphins' defense is better than they played last week, and I think the familiarity with the Bills' system is actually going to help them. They are good at they're good at what they do. I think they have some unheralded players on their D line that don't really get much talk, like Emmanuel Ogbah and Jalen Phillips. So yeah, I think it'll be a close game, and I think I'll take 6.5. I'll take Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle getting almost a touchdown at home.
At home, yeah.
So
Iono.
All right,
Anything?
we're not touching this one just because I do think the Bills are just by far the best team that I see. And I don't want to lay 6.5 points, especially against Miami team that looked pretty scrappy to start the year. So I could see a potential backdoor even incoming once again from the Dolphins. So just not touching this one. I would lean Dolphins plus 6.5 though if I were to have to choose.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Your analysis spoke the other way, but
Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle are probably the most dangerous combo in football right now. I don't know
definitely.
any secondary that can guard him. I mean, we saw Tyreek Hill cook the Bills multiple times. It's not like going to be a surprise if that happens. So,
Yep.
definitely. All right, Saints at the Panthers. Panthers plus three over under set at 40.5. Dallin, let's start with you. What do you got here?
Yeah, I mean, I got the Panthers plus 3. Okay, it's really no surprise here. The books want you to lay all the money on the Saints. They're on paper the better football team, better quarterback play as well. Jameis is a little bit banged up though, so we'll see going into Sunday if he's going to be 100% or not. I don't think he will be because he looked pretty banged up in that last game as well. Couldn't really run.
whole team is banged up, to be honest.
Yeah, the whole team is, and
Yeah. Go
Um,
ahead, sorry.
and we're rocking with the Panthers. Barring injuries from the Saints, I think we're going to rock with the Panthers here. Don't love trusting Baker. I trusted him week 1. He has not, he did not look good and ended up losing that game, and he let me down. But we're backing him again. So
A little
we'll
banged up.
see.
It's because he looks so much better in week 2, right?
Yeah, exactly. We'll see how that goes. I don't think CMC has had his statement game yet going into week 3, and I think he could have it. It's a good spot for him, especially with how banged up the Saints are, as you said. So, that's gonna be my pick. Panthers plus 3.
Nice. Akahi, anything on this one?
Yeah, I'm staying away from this game. I think the Saints kind of feel just like a trap. Yeah, I don't know they need to show something convincing, and they just haven't so far. So I don't like playing around with them right now.
Jameis is the most volatile bomb in the world. You don't know what's gonna happen. Last game, dude, he was just hucking the ball down the field, and it was literally almost touchdown, and he got picked by Jamel Dean. Then in the fourth quarter, they were trying to come back. He actually connected on one with I think it was Olave, 50 yards. I was like, dude, what is going on? But yeah, he's also got 2 fractures in his back, I believe. That's pretty banged up if I'd say so. But going with Baker is sus as well. Yeah, so good luck there, Dylan. Chiefs at Colts. They always have great games. A little bit different in terms of the talent, or maybe I guess what they've shown on the field this season. Chiefs are in 5.5, over under set at 50.5.
It's 5.5 right now.
Yeah, I'll just
Oh my
say
god.
that at first I thought this was a trap. I thought the Chiefs should have been favored by more. I was close to making this a trap of the week and taking the Colts just out of a system play. And I think what the line is saying here is that the Colts have a lot more talent than the amount of points that they've put up on the board so far. And I think that the rosters may not be as far apart as one may think this season, but I do think that the Chiefs are just playing way better, and for that reason, I think 5.5 is a good line here, and I like them by over a touchdown. Honestly, yeah, Dallin, do you want to give any input on your team here? I know you don't like to pick them, but
Well, I
or bet
will
on them.
just say I originally had Colts plus 5.5 on the card. I removed it. Just because, I don't like betting on my own team because I
Yeah.
like watching it from a perspective in which I don't have money to risk. Yeah, what's going on?
So your only reason you took it off the card is because you don't like betting on your team, but otherwise, objectively looking at it, you would pick Colts 5.5.
Well, it's hard to be unbiased, right, in this situation, just because I am a Colts fan. Yeah,
Of course,
so
but I'm saying like the only reason you picked it is because you don't want to root for them and then also have money on it. But would you have picked them if that wasn't the case?
Well, it just seems like every time I take the Colts, they always let me down. So I just don't touch it regardless, so they can let me down while not also losing me money.
Funny enough, we talked about this last week actually, where I was saying like how
I'll take that as
the
a yes.
marginal happiness you get from them covering while them also winning the game is so small compared to them losing and you're losing the cover. Even more so, like if they win and you don't cover, then like you can't even celebrate the win as much. So
I kind of think of it in
just
an opposite way. I think like them losing, my team losing, hurts way worse than the actual money that I lost, unless we're talking tons of money, which never happens. It's moot, you know. But anyway,
yeah,
on
but
this,
like for them to win and not cover, you lose your bet. That's like can't even enjoy the win as much.
I would still. That's the difference between us.
Oh, I would still, but like not as much.
Anyway, I think this could be a Hammah time lock of the week. I think the Chiefs should be giving at least a touchdown. To be honest, the Colts are just so uninspiring. I don't know the status of their injuries, but I think the Chiefs are really just top to bottom a better team. I think the Colts defense has been kind of lost without Matt Eberflus. I don't know. I know Shaq Leonard, is he going to play this week? I don't know. I know DeForest Buckner might not play, but I mean he's not really a big game changer in terms of like points, right? And I just don't know. I don't see why the Chiefs, who are probably the second best team in the league, are only favored by 5.5 points against this Colts team that has done literally nothing. I don't know. It just seems too obvious, and I think it is obvious. The Chiefs don't really slide against bad teams, and I think the Colts are kind of a bad team.
That's true. It smells like trap, but we'll see.
Let's make a little friendly wager on this one. No money.
Okay.
The loser has to say.
I want to be on this. It's YouTube.
The loser has to say that the winner is an absolute genius. Okay.
Okay.
Wait, you're not even betting on it.
First message. Wait, what? Yeah, but I'm taking the Colts plus 5.5.
I mean,
I might take it as a personal play.
Like
I'm not giving it out.
Because I think Patty Mahomes is carried by Andy Reid. I mean, he's a great quarterback, but
carried by the ball bouncing the right direction and flags getting thrown at the right time.
I mean, Alex Smith was producing top seasons with Andy Reid and their roster, and Alex Smith is Alex Smith. But let's not get into that. I think Chiefs minus 5.5 are locks. I'll be an absolute genius on Sunday.
All right. Well, you guys got a genius bet going, so a lot on the line there. This game, Lions at Vikings 5.5 point favorites, over under 53.5. I really want to bet on it. I really wanted to bet on the Vikings coming off that loss to the Eagles, and then I looked at the schedule and I was like, this is not the game I want to bet that. Unfortunately, but I do think they have a bounce back week. The Lions are just they have a lot of dog in them, so I'm staying away. Akai, you got anything on this one?
Yeah, so actually the line was at 7.5 before they played, and I think that was the
Mhm.
time to take them. The Lions plus 7.5. Dan Campbell's been great against the spread. And here's what I'll say: the Lions, they have a good offense with decent quarterback play, great O line, and moving the ball in this league is at a premium right now. Like you can see how many offenses are struggling out there, and the Lions are not one of them. They've averaged, I think, like 35 points per game or something like that. They are very efficient on offense on all downs. They don't really have many flaws in offense. They have a suspect defense, but I think when they were getting 7.5 a touchdown, I think that was an easy pick. I still kind of like him at +6, but I'm not sure. I'm not totally sure. I actually think the Lions could win this game. But yeah, I don't know.
They're
I'm not
averaging
sold
35
on
and a
it.
half right now.
Yeah, their offense is
Not
lights out.
32 and a half.
Their offensive line is what's doing it. They can run the ball at will, and Amon Ra is a stud receiver, and
And DeAndre Swift is
I think if
weapon.
you can move the ball effectively against anyone in this league when you have a good O line, which they do, then you can keep up and cover that spread, which DC does.
Right on. Alan, you on it?
No, I'm with the Kai on this one though. I do lean Lions, and they were, yeah, like Akai said, they opened 7.5, and I think I would have taken them then, but now I'm just not touching it because under a touchdown, you can easily see J Jet going for like 220 yards and 2 touchdowns against the Lions defense, which sucks. So
For
Yeah.
sure.
won't be touching it.
63% of the bets are on, of the money is on the Lions spread. 67% of bets are on the Lions spread right now.
Well, yeah, it's too early to tell, but I think the Lions are going to be slept on this year. But all right,
I think
we'll
it's
move
already
on.
been shot. Yeah. Eagles at Commanders, divisional game. Commanders plus 6.5, over under 47.5. Dallin, anything? Wentz, your boy.
Yeah,
Ex-boy.
no, we're not touching this one either. I think the Eagles are just super, super, super good this year, and I think they showed that on Monday. But I just divisional game, especially in Washington against Carson Wentz, who I've seen do some mystifying things sometimes.
Dude,
Um,
tell me about it.
we're just not.
But he's
touching
also
this one.
played decently well, like half the time. Like he's had some good.
Yeah, I'm
the
saying
second
I'm
half.
saying mystifying in
Oh.
logic defying
he's
ways in
produced.
which
Yeah,
he
I mean,
actually
he's
will
been
cover
terrible.
some spreads.
He's been terrible
So-
this year, and he's also been good in the same game.
Yeah.
So
No, I'm not touching this one. For me.
I'm also not touching it. So
Yeah, I'm on the Eagles. I think they're contenders. I was hesitant to give them that label, but not last night, but Monday night was a huge win, and I think all around they just dominated. And I don't know if Wentz is going to be able to keep doing this for 3 weeks in a row. That just doesn't seem possible. So I'm riding with the Eagles minus 6.5 here. We'll move on to the Raiders at the Titans. Both suspect starts for both teams. Titans are plus 1.5, over-unders at 45.5. I don't have anything on this game. This is just like they're two teams. I don't really know what's gonna come of them going into any game. So I'm gonna lay off here. Akahi, you got anything?
nah, it's two lost souls trying to find their way, and I'm staying far away.
It's a great quote. Clip that for the TikTok. Done.
Yeah, so I mean, you guys can talk about it, but I'm on the Raiders here. We're taking Raiders money line on the road in Tennessee. I mean, Taylor Lewan went out; he was banged up. We might see Max Crosby eat a little bit this week if he is out. And I just think the Raiders are a better football team. They've shown flashes of it this season. I mean, they were beating the Cardinals by like 2 touchdowns. They had their chances against the Chargers. I think they played decent. I mean, Derek Carr didn't really inspire me in that game. But compared to the Titans, who just looked lost last week, I understand it was the Bills, probably the best defense in football right now. But, and they lost to the Giants. I mean, I'm not saying the Giants are a bad team by any means, but they're the Giants. They started 2-0 somehow, but I just think they're I mean, just going into week 3, I'm not too inspired by it. But
Fair
we'll
points.
take Raiders money line. Yeah.
Fair points. Texans at Bears. Bears 2.5-point favorites. That's gonna be the first in a while. Over under 40.5. I got nothing here. I would lean the Texans, I guess, but like I don't know why I would ever want to try to sweat this one out. So
yeah.
Dallin, what do you got? You got something?
We got Texans Bears over 40.5. So this line did open at 38.5. It has moved up, and I still like it right now at where it's sitting. I think that we might see Mills Mafia come out and dot a couple TDs up, and Justin Fields cannot play as bad as he played on Sunday Night Football last week. So hoping for a little bit of positive regression from both guys who just looked awful last week. And I think it's a shit matchup. So
yeah, Justin Fields is just a bad quarterback who can run. He regression for him. I don't even know what that means because he hasn't really been at a point where he's been much higher than what he showed. He's had flashes of being good, but then on average he's been a bad quarterback. So regression to being still a bad quarterback. But I guess he was pretty bad. I don't know. I'm staying off.
Yeah, I agree. Your Town's gonna be in the fourth quarter, being like, "Oh my god, it's 10-3. Like, what are we doing?" Like,
no, and then there's gonna be 2 pick sixes or something, and then it'll hit.
No, that's true. That's true. You got to throw that into the equation. All right, next we got Bengals at the Jets. Jets are 5.5-point dogs coming off for that massive win. Over under. Bengals are dumpster fire. Jets might be still celebrating. I'm gonna stay away. Dallin, anything?
Well, I have a pick for this one later, so we'll come back to it.
Okay. Trost,
yeah, quick, just to be quick, because I don't really care about these teams that much. But Bengals, I got Bengals here. I think the Jets could have been blown out twice by 2 touchdowns. They got lucky. And I think the Bengals have struggled against Parsons and TJ Watt, probably the 2 best pass rushers in the league. I think they get a little break. Their offensive line gets a little break, and they find themselves. Bengals.
Nice. All right. Jags at Chargers. Chargers laying 7, over under 47.5. Akahi, let's kick it right back to you.
Yeah, I got the Jags here, dude. I'm kind of a believer in the Jags. I think Herbert's injury is real. I think he's going to be playing a little more apprehensive. They're going to be playing a little more conservative. They're already very conservative. And the the Jaguars D-line is sneaky good. Josh Allen, year 4 breakout. And their offensive line is playing well, and their offense has been doing well. They move the ball at an efficient rate. They actually convert on first down, highest in the league right now. So they're able to move the ball. They've had some struggles putting the ball in the end zone, but I think they're kind of a sneaky team, and they're a scrappy team. And give me 7 with a questionable Herbert.
Was it more so the Jags offense or the Colts defense last week?
I mean, I don't know. It's kind of always a mixture of both. Usually I give it the offense credit because the defense is more of a reactionary measure.
Fair enough.
Unless you're an elite defense.
Fair enough. Dallin, you on this at all?
Nope, not touching it.
Yeah. I'm on Chargers -7 if Herbert plays. I think Jags is a down spot for them. They blew the Colts out of the water. They're celebrating high. They're feeling good about themselves, and they go into LA and get the ass beat off them, and it's gonna be.
What happens when Herbert gets sacked one time? I don't know, man. He might. It's hard to not be apprehensive.
That's true, but if he plays, I'm in on him. But we'll see. We'll move on. Falcons at the Seahawks. Seahawks -1.5. Over under set at 41.5. I am on the over here. Might be a hot take, but I think that Seahawks at home, they'll be able to move the ball a little bit. I think Mariota's done a decent job, not anything special on offense, but they've been able to move the ball. If they get Pitts a little more involved this game, I think there will be some points here. Dallin, start with you.
Yeah, nothing from me. Not touching this one.
Fair.
So
very fair. Trust.
Yeah.
Home team.
I don't want to spend too much time. I also have the over, though. I like that pick. The line is pretty low. I think the Falcons have moved the ball well, sneakily very well against two good defenses, and I think the Seahawks have played two good defenses and have kind of struggled, and I think they'll have a little bit more space to open it up. So I think they'll be a little more successful. Yeah, I'll take the over here. I don't even know who's going to win. At this point with the Seahawks, honestly, I really like Will Anderson. He's really speaking to me, so,
What about
fine at this point.
Was it Josh Jones? Is that the safety?
Yeah, Josh Jones is.
Who's the backup safety? That guy's something.
Yeah.
All right, Packers at Bucks, huge game. Bucks 1.5 point favorites at home, over under 41.5. This is just one of those games that it's pretty much a pick 'em to me at this point in the season. Both teams have showed flashes. Both teams have shown kind of sus moments. I'm staying away. Akai, you on this at all?
No, but I lean Bucks here just because I think their defense has been lights out, and Packers still are trying to find their way with their new receivers. I think he can take advantage of a bad defense, but the Buccaneers defense is I think it's probably one of the best in the league, if not the best. So I'll stay away.
All right.
I like it.
I'm taking the opposite. We're taking Packers +2.
Nice.
I didn't
no Mike
take
Evans.
the pick, but I lean the Bucks. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm taking Packers +2, official pick. No Mike Evans. I just think, was essentially a pick 'em for me. Now tilts a little bit in the Packers' favor, and lines move down from 3 to 2. So, I mean, we can stick this.
Now their
the
receiving
Packers
corps
or
might be
the
equal.
Bucks?
Their receiving
Yeah, I
corps
was gonna
might
say,
be
which
equal
one has
without
the
Mike
better
Evans.
receiving corps?
But I think their defense is a little better. But
Yeah, it's pretty equal. I think the Packers' defense is sneakily pretty good. So
they're supposed to be.
I wouldn't
good,
even say
and
it's
they haven't
sneaky.
been good.
But-
I was gonna say
Yeah.
they were on paper coming in really hot, and I don't know, but we'll see. Love the diversity though of the pod here. Rams at Cardinals, another divisional matchup. Cardinals +3.5 at home, over under 48.5. Initially, I was gonna slam the Rams. I think Cardinals suck, and I think Rams are gonna show out that they're still one of the better teams in the league. But I'm gonna stay away from this just because it's a divisional game and whatnot. But Cardinals coming off an all-time comeback win, I think it's a huge letdown spot for them here. But I lean Rams. We'll see if I end up betting them. But Dallin, you're on the opposite here. I can see that.
Yeah, we got Cardinals +4. No real explanation needed. I just think playing at home, we'll see Kyler Murray hopefully watch more film this week. So that's why I'm
Nice.
taking him.
Trask?
Hard skip for me. But I'd like to jump into the Broncos already since we're running low on time. I got the
Let's go.
Broncos +1.5, and they're 49ers at the Broncos. Over under 45. So my rooting interests are with the Niners. Go Garoppolo, go 49ers this week. But I think the Broncos have a really good defense, and I think Russell Wilson knows the 49ers defense really well, and I think it's going to be a really close game. But I'll take the Broncos here.
All right.
Fine. Dallin?
I am on the opposite once again. We are taking the Niners money line. This game open +3.
If I pick, it's going to be a money line Broncos too.
All right, game open Niners +3. It slowly moved to Niners -2. Niners -1.5 on some sites. And we're just rolling with the Niners. I think they looked really good last week. Knew they were going to blow the Seahawks out. Let's be honest, the Seahawks a little bit too overhyped going into week 2, I think, from what we saw in week 1. And, the Broncos haven't really impressed me. That's all I got to say. So that's why I'm taking the Niners.
Yeah, I'm retired from betting on the Niners. Like I said last week, it's too much stress. Yeah. I was going to say one more thing, but let's move on to Monday Night Football. Cowboys at the Giants. Giants are 1.5 point favorites with Cooper Rush. Over-under is 39.5. That's disgusting. I'm going to stay away. Cooper Rush versus Daniel Jones. Got to be one of the least intriguing things.
It's such a terrible matchup, too. Yeah, I might not even watch
No one's betting on this. We don't need to talk about it. Hammah time locks. I'm actually taking the over of Falcons Seahawks. That is going to be my lock for the week. Dallin,
Love that.
Anything?
Might have to hop on that one with you as well.
That's all three of
but
us,
I got
baby.
Bengals. I'm with Akahi on the Bengals -4.5. I think it's a bounce back spot for Joe Burrow and Joe Shiesty. The swag's going to come out this week, and I think the Bengals are just going to absolutely take it to the Jets this week. Don't think Joe Flacco's a good quarterback. He aired it out. I mean, he's the third passer in the third in passing yards in the league right now, going into week 3. But I just think the Bengals are a better football team, and they're due for some positive regression.
All right.
All right,
Macaulay,
I
go
backed
ahead.
those. I backed both those locks. Those are 2 locks of the week, and let's end it, boys. I appreciate your time. Thank you all for watching. Tune in next week. Follow us on Twitter, and let's go.